Hi guys! Hopefully you guys can hear me. My name is Andrew, and I am going to be running the TouchDesigner reaction diffusion plus stream diffusion workshop today. Yeah, thanks so much for joining. If you want to get the project files, you can do so from this QR code. You can also get it in, hold on. I'll put it in the chat afterwards, but yeah, you can scan the QR code to get it. There's also, actually, wait, yeah, let me paste it in. Give me 1 second. Okay, yeah. Let me go into this chat. Okay, so you can get the reaction diffusion here. And then you can also get to the API. If you don't know what Daydream is about, we are a real-time AI community. We're open source, and we try to host little like workshops and just like little knowledge sharing hub on our Discord. I'm the guy who kind of just like does a lot of TouchDesigner stuff. I run these workshops. I like to share about like the progress that like the engineering team has made, and like also just overall just like kind of be that person who you can ask if you have any questions about StreamDiffusion, TouchDesigner, real-time tools, real-time AI tools. But yeah, if you want to join our Discord, well, you guys are already in the Discord, but if you're watching this on YouTube, you can join the link below. And then if you want to try the playground experience, you can do so from this QR code. The playground experience is like this like bite-sized example of like what real-time AI workflows can do. But if you want to build your own workflows outside of like TouchDesigner, you can get the Daydream API. And then we have a bunch of resources in our Discord on like how to do like vibe coding and like, like trying to just like integrate this into like a platform where you can make it yourself. But yeah, today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make this like really simple reaction diffusion network, and then also to connect that into a like pretty easy stream diffusion stuff. If you already have stream diffusion, if you already have stream diffusion downloaded, then this setup should be pretty easy. And all you have to do is just like drag your stream diffusion into the setup instructions. If you don't, I have in the Discord a tutorial in our and wait, let me paste this first. StreamDiffusionTD there. Womp. So if you don't have like the installation, you can go into our tutorials channel right here. And this is where all of our previous workshops are too, with all the free project files, if you guys aren't aware. So like you can watch the recordings, you can get all of the project files and like just like learn the workflow. But this is the latest one, which is right here. And you just need to download like the project files, the latest stream diffusion component off of .simulate's Patreon, and the API generator as well. But yeah. And then so this is our like output right here, and then this is our input right here, and like you can you can do whatever you want with, and like it's just supposed to be like a pretty easy setup on, in terms of just like UI, and you'll be able to like play around with it, and all of the TouchDesigner stuff. Like this is the setup stuff, so you can like close this. But like the TouchDesigner stuff is on the right-hand side, and like you can see like this is what we're going to be building. And then yeah, this is just like a pretty easy UI element. So yeah, hopefully you guys can try it out. I'll be running through how to set that up as well. But yeah, this is like still kind of in beta, so getting more people to test this is also one of my goals. But yeah, is this available on Mac OS? Depends on which Mac you are running. I know that as of right now, we have issues with the M1 and the M4 that we're trying to figure out, but for any other Macs, it should be good. You just have to follow the installation guide. And we provide that in our documents that I will link once we get there. But yeah, anyways, let's stop this and let's start up a new TouchDesigner file. Close that real quick. Okay. Yeah, but there are workarounds, and if we have enough time, I'll also go through how to do that. You don't actually need StreamDiffusionTD to run StreamDiffusion on a server side anymore. There's the playground, and you can use the playground, and you can just hook things up into Google Drive links. Aren't working for you? No, but really? Are other people able to download the Google Drive links? Can anyone confirm or deny this claim? Okay. Maybe try refreshing or on my phone. Yeah, try getting it on your computer. I have the links on my in the Discord. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So if StreamDiffusion doesn't work on TouchDesigner for you, there's a workaround. What you'll be needing to download instead is this guy. Gotta download NDI tools. So download that if you want to run TouchDesigner. I'll briefly go through that and like, yeah, hopefully that'll get you situated. But yeah, that's about it. Let's get started. Okay, so hopefully everyone has downloaded TouchDesigner. This is an introduction tutorial workshop. So if you're new to TouchDesigner, that's perfectly okay. There are a few things that we want to go over before we start. So the first thing is this entire screen right here, you can click and drag to move around the screen, and this is called your network. So your network is just like your workspace, and then what populates your network are a bunch of nodes, and these nodes all do something, but you can click on one of them, like right click on one of them to get information on the top right, which are your parameters with all the tabs. If you left click and drag, then you no longer, disable, you don't move it around, but instead you bring up this rectangle, and this rectangle you can select everything, and everything that's selected will be highlighted yellow. And yeah, so that's a good way to group everything. And so the first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be deleting everything. So you can right click, select everything, and then just press backspace, press delete, or you can right click and press delete right here as well, like so. So now we should have an empty network. Now, we're going to talk about some UI elements. So the first thing is if you double click, you'll open an OP create dialog. These are all the operators. Operators are separated into classes. So we got top, chop, sop, mat, dat, custom, comp, all of these sort of stuff. We're going to be focusing mainly on tops. So you can double click to open one, or you can press tab, like so. On the right-hand side is your palette. So this is a little interface that has a bunch of different tools. We're going to be needing this So you can keep it open. If you don't have enough space, if you think that this like workspace is a bit cramped, you can close it. If you want to open it up again, you can either do Control B or Command B, depending on your Mac, or you can go into this dialog and palette browser. But I'm gonna keep it open. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing that we're gonna be needing is to double click to open up our OP create dialog. And so there's on the top right corner, or sorry, top left corner, you can see a little like search bar, and we're gonna type in circle because we're gonna want a circle, like so. And so after that, what we're gonna be needing to do is we want to turn down the radius to something really small. And so I'm gonna do something like 0.02, no, 0.05 on the X and the Y, like so. The next thing that we're gonna do is, so once we have something smaller, like so, we're gonna go into our common tab, like so, and we are going to change the resolution. And so you can just click highlight over it and replace it to be 180 by 180. So right here, like so. And then underneath, all the way at the bottom, is a pixel format. And this pixel format is how the image is encoded. And we're going to change that into 32-bit float RGBA. So it's just the last one before all of these crazy ones, but just this one right here. Okay. So now from there, what we're going to do is we are going to add a feedback. So we're going to double click or press tab to open up the OP create dialog again. And then we are going to grab this guy right here, like so. So this feedback, it's going to create a feedback loop for us. And so what we're going to also need is we're going to need to connect this outlet, right? So every single node has an outlet and an inlet. So this outlet, if you click on this little notch right here, you'll get a wire. And this wire, you can connect to any inlet, like so. So it'll kind of like, if you get close enough, it'll just like automatically snap to it. And then you can hover over it to see the input. The input 0, like so. Now what we want to do is we also want to get something to reset a feedback loop, because otherwise it will just kind of like run forever and fill up your screen. So what we can do is we can go into our green now, our green OP create dialog, and we're going to get a keyboard in. And this just registers a keyboard click. So this one right here, it will say K1. And every single time I press my one key, it does a little pulse, like a button. And so from there, what we want to do is we want to click on this like bottom right viewer active right here. And this just changes it so that now when you like when you left click it, when you left click it, you can't move the node anymore. Like usually you can move it, but if it's in viewer active mode, it turns like this, and then you can just like, it's kind of just there forever. And so what you want to do is you want to click, hold, and drag until you see this little arrow, this arrow right here, and you're gonna like hover over this feedback, and then you're gonna hover over this pulse. So click, drag, click, hold, drag, then move it onto the feedback, put it onto this pulse, and then drop it onto here. And then you're going to want to go and do a chop reference, like so. And so when you do that, the pulse will become blue, and then you'll see a little arrow key that's like directed to the feedback. And now every single time, What the heck? Hold on. Sorry. Give me 1 second. Why did I do that? Okay, there we go. Yeah, so every single time you like press 1, it should just like reset it. And yeah, if you just got that error, you just want to delete it and then like put down another keyboard chop. Anyways, so now what we want to do is we want to grab another top in here. And this top, what we want to do, I think, is we want to get a composite. So this composite, I'm going to put right here. And I'm actually going to drag it like a little bit further. And what we want is we want to bring the circle into this composite. And we also want to put in this feedback into this composite. So we want the circle and the feedback going inside, like so. And so we should have 2 little wires going into our composite. And then in our operations, we're going to change this to be from multiply to actually over, just like so. Okay. So now we can kind of move that to the side, like so. Actually, no. What we're going to do is after this comp, move it just a little here. What we want to do is we actually want to add a null, like so. And this null, we can, a null does nothing, but it's just like a little placeholder. And what we can do is we can do display, just like that. And with display, what we can get is we can now separate, well, now we just have like a view. And so like, this is good. You can like look at it like bigger, but like also it's like kind of like, you know, like in the way of everything. So if you don't want it to be in the way, you can just turn this off and then like occasionally look at it. It's just a better way to like sort of like keep track of what's happening, but I'm going to keep it off for now. But yeah, so now we kind of have like these 2 wires, right? So we want to focus, we're going to be focusing on this bottom wire. And what we want to do is we're going to want to add stuff in between. And so the first thing that I want to add is I'm going to add a blur, not a Luma blur, a regular blur. So I'm going to add this blur right here. And what we want to do is we want to insert this in between our feedback and our comp. So the way that we can do that is we can insert the feedback outlet into our blur inlet. And then with this outlet, we're going to replace the wire. And the way that we can do that is we can just highlight over this wire, like so. And it should turn yellow. And when you click on it, it replaces it. And then you can put it right here. And so for this blur, what we want is we want to do a filter size of 24, like so. Okay. Now we're going to do another one. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to be doing this a bunch, actually. So we're going to put this blur 1 inlet into our blur 2. Sorry, we're going to put our blur 1 outlet into our blur 2 inlet. And then we're going to do the same thing, which is replace it, like so. And then we also want to change this filter size to be 14. So we have a blur size of 24 and a blur size of 14, just like that. Okay. So now, okay, I want some more room, so I'm going to move these over a bit, like so. And now what we want to do is we want to get a sharpen. And so if we open up, we're not going to get a sharpen in here because it's not part of our OP create dialog. It's actually going to be an image filter. So, you know, a sharpen filter is just going to be under our palette. And so you can, you know, if you closed it, you can open it up again with Command or Control B. You can also go into this dialog right here and click on the palette right here. So those are 2 ways to open it up. And what we want to do is we want to go into our image filters, and we want to scroll all the way down to sharpen. And then with this, you can just drag it onto our network like so. And it's just going to be a bunch of jelly beans. And we want to crank up this sharpen amount to 1. And then we want to replace our wire again, just like so. And yeah, and as of right now, nothing is happening because the feedback loop isn't running. So it should kind of just like stay the same. But right now the feedback has like no target, so it's just kind of like paused. But yeah, that's okay. So next, what we're gonna do is from our blur, so not from our sharpen, we're going to grab another node. So what we're gonna do is we're going to add a noise, just like that. And we are going to drag our blur 2 outlet into this noise 1 inlet, the first one, not the second one, the first one. And so it should kind of go in here. And you can see, if you zoom in, that there is a circle. And that's because the two are like mixing together. We don't want this mix, so we'll fix that later. But first things that we're going to do is we're going to change our period to be 8. We're also going to change our amplitude to be like 2. And then in our monochrome, we're going to make this not black and white. So we're going to make this, yeah, like colored, just like that. Now in our transform tab, we're going to go into our translate, and we're going to go into our third box right here. And we're going to type in the text abs time dot seconds. Ooh, and then we're going to multiply it by like 0. Let's do 0.1. And if you guys don't want to type that, I will paste it into the chat. So you can copy and paste it. But yeah, so third box, which is our translate C, and now you should just get like a bit of animation. And then lastly, because we don't want that circle in there, we're going to go into our output, and we're going to go into this first drop-down menu, and we're just going to change the blending noise from input plus noise to just noise. And there we go. Now we just get our little thingy. Okay. So from there, what can we do? Okay, so from there, what we can do is, well, we can get a displace right here. And this displace, we're going to use it to move things. And so all we're going to do is we're going to change the displace weight to be 1 divided by, I think, 1,000? No, sorry. 1 divided by 2,000, like so. And we also want the displace of the second box to be 1 over 2,000 as well. And so we're going to replace, so we're going to grab our sharpen, and we're going to put that sharpen into our first input, and we're going to bring that wire onto this wire as well, like so. And then with our second input, we want to add the noise into the second input, like so. So we have this little system right here. And from there, I think that's pretty much it. Trying to think, is there anything else that's necessary? Nope, I think that's good. Okay, so now what we can do is we can get this to be running, and all we have to do is we want to click on our comp 1, and we're gonna drag it so it kind of moves around, and we just want to put that into our feedback like so. And there we have it. Yay! Awesome. Okay, so now that we have this, you'll notice that we kind of have this like circle that's like on top. And there's a few ways to change that. I think the best way is to, instead of doing over, I think we can do under. Yeah, there we go. So in our comp one, instead of doing over, we just want to do under. And yeah, the reaction diffusion. Now, a few things about this reaction diffusion is I'm going to go back into here, and I'm going to press C to open up these like color menu. And I'm just going to color these two red. And I'm also going to color this red as well. And the reason being is because if I mess around with these blurs, so if I decrease these blurs to like really low, then it becomes like super, super tiny, fine, like reaction diffusion. But if I kind of increase both of them to be like really high, then it gets like really thick. So it's up to you, like how much you want it to be, like, but yeah. I like both of them being like kind of like in the middle, like so. Yeah, like 22, 12. And then another thing that you can do is in this noise, if you go back into the noise tab, you can play around with a lot of the attributes of the noise to like move around the fluid, or yeah, the reaction diffusion. Like you can like increase the harmonics, and then you get like a lot more like crazier lines. You can like really crank that up. And I don't know. I mean, it's okay. You can like decrease it. You can like, if you want the fluid to move faster, you can increase the amplitude to like something like 10, like even like, I don't know, 100. But then it gets like too much. So I like 2. Another thing you can do, don't move the offset. I think that kind of messes things up a bit. You can also increase the period or decrease it. So if you like do like a lower period, then there's a lot less like, a lot more like randomness, I would say. Like things get a lot more spread out. But like if you do like 20, then it becomes like more uniform. So that's up to you. Yeah. Okay. But yeah. So from there, I'm just gonna add a bit of color. And actually, yeah. We're gonna add a bit of color. Actually, this might be a bit more complicated. Yeah, okay, no, that's fine. So we're gonna do so after this null, we're gonna add a limit. And with this limit, we're going to connect the null one into it. And right now, the values are like super crazy. Because like reaction diffusion mathematically is like, it's like adding, averaging all over again. So like, we want to limit the pixel values to be between 0 and 1. One way that we can do that is we can go into this limit and we can just do clamp and clamp, like so. And then what we can do is we can add another noise on top of this. And then this one right here, we can turn the monochrome off. We can also do like a higher period, like, I don't know, like 6. We could do a harmonic of like 1. And then we can maybe like change the seed. And then in our translate, we can do the exact same thing, which is that abs times that seconds, like so. And then in our output, we can just do input times noise, like that. And yeah, so now we should have something like this. The last thing that we can do is we can add a null, like so. And yeah, With this noise, I'll also color red. I'm going to play around with this one. Like increase the brightness, increase the offset, increase the period, but I like a higher period, like so. Okay, so from there, from there we can do the stream diffusion stuff. So what I want to do actually is I want to zoom out all of this, and I want to right click. So a few things is I want to actually open up my. So if you guys downloaded that StreamDiffusion Quick Start, if you haven't used StreamDiffusion before, you can use the StreamDiffusion Quick Start file and like learn alongside it. But like basically, you can like put this into StreamDiffusion already. But I'm gonna open up the StreamDiffusion Quick Start stuff and then like go through that real quick. Oh. Wait. Did the stream disappear? Oh, okay. We're back. We're back. Okay. So from there, what we can do is we can grab our other component right here. Okay, awesome. And yeah, so a few things. So once you're in this stream diffusion component stuff, what we want to do is let's just drag this to the side first. And I'm going to focus on this network down here, the lower one right here. These are 3 different like windows, but yeah, just focus on this one. I'm going to delete this circle. I'm going to delete this movie file in. I'm also going to delete this switch. And then what I want to do, so this should be like bring like an error, but that's okay because we're going to go into our other project with the reaction diffusion, and we're going to highlight all of this stuff. We're going to copy it, and then we're going to minimize, or you can, yeah, we're basically going to move this project into this quick start, and I'm going to paste it like so. Woo! And it should run automatically. And yeah, all you want to do is you want to like, yeah, like you can like paste it and then like move it all here. If you like kind of like clicked off by accident, that's okay. You can like control undo. And then yeah, like now it's like kind of like mixed in. Like I do this sometimes and I'm like, oh no, but that's okay. You can just like control undo and then like paste it again. And like don't click off of it and you should be able to move it. This kind of looks like a dog. It's kind of awesome. Like, okay. Anyways, we're gonna sorry, we're gonna drag this null into our input like so, and then we're gonna drag this input into our yeah, we're gonna drag that input into here like so. And yeah, now it should show up here. And what we can do is we can move this window all the way back here and make it big again. And now we can focus on the setup instruction stuff. And so first time users, okay, so basically once you open this app, there are going to be a few things that you're going to need to do. I leave all of the links inside of this setup instruction stuff. If you want to copy and paste stuff, you can just click on this like right editable, like this like top right notepad thing. And yeah, the first thing that we're going to need is we're going to need the API key. So I'm going to paste that into here. And then with this API key, what we can do with it is, okay, I guess they are no longer offering the API keys. Unless there's probably some server maintenance. I think there's some server maintenance. I think we are still offering the API keys. Okay, so imagine I have an API key. You can basically just like the UI is like basically you can just generate it. It's limited time for free, so just try it out as soon as you can. But once you have that, you're going to need to like grab it from it's going to be like a key. And with that key, I know that's so messed up, but it should be. I have a I have a video, like a video tutorial. So all of this stuff, like you'll be able to watch it as a tutorial. It's like 5 minutes long, but it's going to be right here, like so. Yeah, tutorials and then tools, TouchDesigner. Yeah, it's a pretty good resource. And then, anyways, so let's say that we did just get our API key. What we can do is then we can I'll just like quickly go through it so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to copy it and we're going to paste the API key. We're going to replace this text with the API key. And then we're going to click off, and then we are going to drag the StreamDiffusionTD component, and that's going to be the latest one from .simulates page. And so, can we have your key? I mean, like, yeah. I mean, probably. You guys can share it. You guys can work it amongst yourselves. Just like take turns. But so the next thing that you want to do though is you just want to grab the StreamDiffusion component. So mine is just like in this folder right here. It's going to be the 0.2.99, the latest version, because that one has the Daydream stuff. But you're going to just like drag that onto this part right here and just like give it a moment. But yeah, so now you have this, right? And all you have to do afterwards is you just have to go into the install and you just need to like pulse the second one right here. It's gonna if it's your first time, there's gonna be an X, but like that's all you have to do. And afterwards, what you can do is you can go into this UI now, and you can just like press start. And yeah, so okay, so now it's connected and it's great. It's running, super awesome. If you want to change the prompt, you can with like, I don't know, like, yeah, like cotton candy. But for me, like what I want to really go through with you guys with this stuff is really just like how to sort of like use this, right? So one thing is like on default, hello, hi Franco. Like the first thing that you want to do is you can like lower all of the values that we are given. On default, it doesn't reflect the parameter values, but now it does, right? And so from there, what you can do is you can like the way to like sort of like understand what everything does is you can like increase all of them individually. And so the first one that I think is really important is like Canny. And what Canny does is Canny gets like all of the edges of your input visual, right? So if you go into this network here, like that has the reaction diffusion, I'm going to increase these blurs by a lot so that the things are bigger. And like you'll notice that like, okay, so like Canny, what it does is it takes in all of these edges. So like at 0.4, if I increase it all the way to the max, it gets to a point where it's like really ugly, but you have like this like one-to-one when it comes to like so the edge quality, I guess. But yeah, so like that's the first one. HED is like kind of like the same thing, but it's more so for, it's kind of hard to demonstrate on like a reaction diffusion, but it's also an edge detection, but it's more for like, it doesn't take in the smaller details. It kind of just takes in like the edges that kind of pop out. So like if you're thinking about like a face, right, it's going to get those edges of your face, but it might not get like small details like, you know, like, yeah, exactly. There's more blur, and it's probably not going to pick up on like small like blemishes if you were to use your face. I would use my face here, but like it's already webcam onto something else. So yeah, but yeah, like Cosmic Crafter like said it pretty well. And so if you increase this as well, you're gonna get like the same effect. But yeah, and then the next thing that is good is like the depth. The depth just kind of like considers your art as like a 3D aspect. So like for something like this, it's a bit harder to get the 3D-ness of it because it's like a 2D, but like for like 3D scenes for your face, it does a really good job of getting that depth map and like helping you like get a good output. And so when you combine all of these together, you can get like a pretty interesting look of like cotton candy. And the step size as well is something that you can experiment. If you increase the step size all the way to the max, look around there. Let me see. Yeah, okay. If I like increase the step size of all of these to like the maximum, it does like a 1-to-1 in terms of output. But if you do a little step schedule that's like increasing slowly, you can get like much more interesting looks. The only thing that you should like keep in mind is that you want to keep the step 1 at the lowest, step 2 at the like middle, and then step 3 at the highest. And yeah, I think you can try Galaxy. And yeah, and if you don't want to use this, you can also just like install like StreamDiffusion by yourself and then kind of like use this version. And so on the right hand side, like here, right, here are all of the prompts, like they're all in like different places. So like that's why I kind of made this project file. It's more so just so like you can get started on it. But like if you like look here, like if I increase this, you can see it kind of reflected like so. Oh yeah, and the last one that like I didn't go through is like pose, but like pose is for like your face. So it's like not as well. I mean, it's fine. Like it's just like, or like, sorry, it doesn't work on like something that doesn't have a pose. So like this video input has no posing. Like it's not, there's no human, so it can't really get what a pose is. But you can do like other faces, like abstract faces, I guess, like animals, I think. But yeah. Cool. Anyways, so that's like the little reaction diffusion part with the StreamDiffusion integrated into like this easy project file. Yeah, it's a stick man, basically. And yeah, these are control nets. So control nets are just ways to help guide the AI model into sort of creating something that is a nice balance between your input and your output. So like if I turn off all of these like control nets, like it's fine, like, but it doesn't really take in like the contours of like the interesting, yeah, it doesn't really like adhere very well, you know? So the control net helps a lot with that. But yeah, I mean, like if you want to change with this project file, whatever input you put into here, it should be good. So like you can actually do like a video device in. And then you can just replace this wire with this one. And then you could do like, and that's me. And then like, so like as of right now, right, like when I move, it's just kind of like it's doing its own thing. But I can like increase the pose. And then I can also increase like depth. And then it kind of like it gets, and then like if I do this, right, it like doesn't really know that these are my peace signs. But what I could do is I can like increase the canny. And there it is. There's my peace sign. And then you can also increase the HED. And then you can like, I don't know, like maybe like even like decrease the step size. But yeah, this project file is basically just to show like, oh, like you can do like just to easily put your TouchDesigner work into your output. Yeah, definitely. And on the right-hand side of my project file for this UI, there's also an output, and this output is just like regular output with a movie file in, and you can record it like so, and then there's an NDI out. The reason why there's an NDI out is because, well, if you downloaded NDI, actually, I will do that right now. I'm gonna delete this, and I'm gonna go back into my reaction diffusion, like so. Okay, so delete that like NDI out, and I will talk about like a workaround. So if StreamDiffusionTD doesn't work for you, what you can do is you can actually like activate this workflow by just using an NDI out. So let's say that this doesn't work for some reason, right? Well, that's okay. We're going to, okay. So say that it's just like a reaction diffusion setup, right? And this stream doesn't work for some reason because you're on an M1 or an M4. What you can do is you can download NDI tools, and with NDI tools, you get an NDI out. And the NDI out, what it does is it allows you to pipe your like TouchDesigner visual into your webcam. And so from there, what you can do is you can open up your NDI app. Oof. And with that NDI app, you'll open up your NDI launcher. And with the NDI launcher, you'll be able to get the webcam. And so with this webcam, you can click on it. And when you click on it, you should get okay, there it is. Your NDI webcam launcher. And then you can click on this. So with all the tiny icons on your like PC, and then you can get your webcam. And so this is your video one. And so like, well, what does that mean? Well, if I grab a video device in, right, I can go into my NDI webcam right here. And there's my webcam, like that's like a webcam like video input. And so, yeah, and let me go through how to set that up real quick. So first thing that you want to do is you want to look at this NDI and you want to look at what your source name is. So mine is just by default like TouchDesigner, but you can name this like to like whatever you want. You could do like, I don't know, like test output or whatever. The only rule is that if you have multiple NDI outs, you can't have them as the same name. Once you're there, you can open up the NDI webcam by right-clicking the small little icon right there. And so now the video is gone because we are no longer identifying the stream that the NDI out is releasing. So you want to go and click on this gear and then go into your PC name, and then you'll see that it will be listed as one of those outputs. So you can just click on that like so. And there you go. There you have it. So, well, why is that great? Well, now what you can do is you can open up whatever browser of choice that you like, but just like you need to know how to configure your webcam. So usually that's going to be in your settings or on Chrome. It makes it a lot easier because what you can do is you can go into, so you can go into our playground. And with this playground, you can change your input mode to be camera. But before you do that, the first thing that you need to do is, oh yeah, I think right now the website might be a bit at low capacity, but you can go onto this website, and before you turn your mode into camera mode, you just want to change your camera settings. So on StreamDiffusion, sorry, oh my God, on Chrome, it's a lot easier to change it because all you do is click on that little adjustment bar, and then you just want to change it to the NDI webcam video. And so once it's loaded up, that's good. Don't worry that it's a black screen. It just takes a while to load, but then you're all set. So then what you can do is you go into camera mode. Oh my God, and there it is. And you can do the exact same thing. So you can do cotton candy. I think right now it's a bit laggy, so we might have to play around with it a bit more. Oh yeah, no, they're updating the website. Yeah, we're on a new release, so I think the website's doing some maintenance. So right now it's not working completely, but the whole idea is okay, you can pipe this into a camera and then you can kind of go from there and use it. But yeah, that's basically the workshop. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you can add TouchDesigner into your little toolkit of visuals that you can generate. And yeah, last thing I would say is if you're watching our YouTube from our YouTube, or if you're in our Discord right now, feel free to check it out. Go into the Discord. We have a bunch of channels that kind of talk about different topics relating to Stream Diffusion. What we're trying to do is we're trying to be a leading community of just resources where people can learn about real-time AI, because as of right now, there's not that many places. There's no subreddit or anything like that either. So Daydream channel is just a great place for people to come in, ask questions. We have a tutorial channel with all of our previous workshops, and I add some quick tutorials that you can watch to free project files to help you guys get set it up. There's also a TouchDesigner channel where people show off their workflows. There we go. Heck yeah. And then yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that we can. Oh, it's sick. This is. Hey, I'm glad. Thank you, Cosmic Corrector. Yeah, there's people showing off their workflows, what they are kind of stuck on, all of these sort of stuff. We also have a Daydream channel that talks about my testing. Right now, I'm doing a lot of testing with SDXL. So this is something that I made recently with a depth map in TouchDesigner. Hopefully it loads. No, that is so rude. Okay, well, check it out on your phone. I think it should load. It's just me playing around with my hands with a depth map. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys on, oh yeah, also, yeah, Thursday and Tuesdays are usually workshops / builder hours where I'm just kind of there and you can ask me questions and you know, like watch me like make stuff in TouchDesigner and like and then StreamDiffusion. But yeah, see you guys around. Bye bye.